Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Adobe Live. Today is Monday, September 29th, and we are joined by Justin Odisho. We're very excited. We're going over some new updates to Premiere. We'll also be hopping into some Photoshop beta updates as well. And we've got a lot ahead of us. But first, good morning, Justin. How's it going?
Hey, good morning, everyone. It's going great.
Thanks for joining us again. We were live together about like 2 weeks ago. We ran out of some time, and so it's nice that we're actually able to hop back into some of the stuff that we were talking about. But we're also covering some new stuff. We are live on both YouTube and Behance, but if you're watching the replay, we'll make it worth your while. Just want to say a quick hello to Cody and Rick, who are already hyping up the chat saying hello. So good morning. Let us know how your weekend was and what you guys got into, if you guys played it cool, or if you guys had work to do. Justin, what did you get into this weekend?
Yeah, you and I think we both had work to do, but I'm always happy to be doing, it doesn't feel like work when you're editing videos, me personally. So,
Yeah, keeping busy bodies up.
yeah.
So what is the first thing we're going to be hopping into this morning?
Sure. So I'm really excited actually. We're first gonna jump into Photoshop, which is fun because I don't get to be in there as much these days. But Photoshop, I'm in the Photoshop beta, and they recently announced in the generative models the ability to use Google Gemini's Nano Banana tool. So that's this one, Gemini 2.5. Don't ask me why it's called Nano Banana or anything like that. If anyone in the chat knows, that'd be cool. But the really cool part about this new generative model is its ability to maintain details like an ability I've never really seen before. And I'm going to show you a bunch of different use cases, like, for example,
Oh,
removing stuff. We're going to decorate a whole room.
hmm?
And
Not the
honestly,
disco ball.
yeah, I just was going crazy. Um, and, I'm going to give you a couple cool different ideas here. So,
For interior
uh,
design and for your editing.
yeah, anyone in the chat can probably help me with the interior design. But this really does feel like the future is here. I don't know, we were talking a little bit before the stream, but I personally started my whole Adobe journey kind of in Photoshop in 2007-ish or something like that, and it's been a long time, and it finally feels like we're at this stage where I can just say, do this, do that, and push a button, and it does it. So really cool stuff. Why don't we just jump right in and work through some examples?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, so there's a couple different ways that you can use generative fill, like previously before. For example, you can use just the rectangular marquee or other tools to select
Okay.
stuff, but in this case, I'm going to use the selection brush tool. And a couple little tips and tricks to keep in mind is in the brush section, sometimes it helps if you have the hardness down a little bit just to get a little bit of that feathering of the edge. And you can also adjust the size. So if you're on your keyboard, like the left bracket and right bracket keys are a quick shortcut to do that. And if you hold shift and use the down bracket and up bracket, that adjusts the softness as well. But for example, in this case, if I want to do something like remove the sunglasses from this image, I was just highlighting with the selection brush tool, basically this pretty rough outline. And then with this new, I always forget the name of it. It's called conceptual taskbar. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, contextual.
Contextual, not
Contextual.
conceptual. Yeah.
The
And
consensual taskbar. It's always
good
asking
thing
if you're
Ryan's
down
here.
to edit.
So in here, you have a couple different options. And if I click generative fill, this brings up the generative fill that's always been in Photoshop. Now remember, everyone, we are in the beta version. This is available in beta for a limited time, I think. But Adobe, one cool thing that they've been doing in the video and in photo is introducing partner models. So not only can you use Firefly, which there's different benefits of each. I think Firefly is commercially safe. I'm not sure what all the differences with each are, but the new one here is this Gemini Nano Banana, which has been blowing my mind in the few times I've used it. So if I just tell it basically, I think it's best to use like action words. In this case, just something really simple like remove sunglasses and
It
click
actually works well with action words. That's kind of different from Firefly or in other stuff that's already been in Photoshop. It was more so like just nouns, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm only saying that because, yeah, when you see here in this tip, it says detailed descriptions and clear action verbs. So
Wow, interesting.
that's the tip that it's giving me.
It's a
And
change of
it's
approach for me.
yeah, I like it because I mean I'm always like talking to it like do this, do that. But you'll see here it's gonna finish up. This is actually a pretty big image too, and it'll put on a new layer our generation. Oh, of course,
Oh,
this one
hey.
looks a little bit wacky, but
But
now
you could probably,
you
could you
know
resize that?
probably, but it probably has to do with my selection actually. Like for
Okay.
example, I want to show a different way, but just to show everyone like basically the same exact thing I did last night looks pretty great.
Yeah.
And I didn't do anything different except maybe my selection was a bit more precise. But that's actually a good thing to show. There's more than one way because I did notice sometimes the selection, the like you said, it's not that the eyes are weird, it's that it's sort of too big,
Right.
and then you might have to resize. But another way that you could do it though is just on the entire image. So if you just press, for example, like Command A will select the entire image, or I guess if you just leave it like blank, if you just generate and type in remove sunglasses without giving it a clear boundary, I also think that this could be a nice alternative method if you are running into issues with the edges. So yeah, I think it's actually good. Like we're not trying to hide and show that there's perfect results, but you are going to encounter some different workflow things, and these are the different ways you can go about it. So yeah, this one works a lot better when I didn't give it a boundary, and we're going to see in future examples where giving a boundary helps. But the really amazing part I think about Gemini or Nano Banana that is its ability to preserve details. If you notice, it like barely the perspective changed a bit, but things like his facial hair, this little like marks on his face. Basically, everything is exactly the same. This little
Right.
strand of hair, except for we've removed the sunglasses. And yeah, I think previous sort of AI stuff, you might have noticed. If you try to generate, it might give you a whole different person, for example, or it might change a lot of things. This one really keeps everything. I mean, honestly, it looks pretty cool to me. Everything is exactly the same. I mean, it just removed the sunglasses, which Photoshop's always been pretty powerful, but
But not
I
to that extent. That's kind of,
yeah, I'm sure there's wizards that could have removed the
yeah.
sunglasses, but it would be a really lengthy job. And this is what I was talking about. Like we're in the future where you can just do stuff like this. So another one that I'll do, this one I've been having mixed results with, but another really cool one that I've seen uh, some experiments with is let's have him turn his head to the right. So this like perspective shifting thing has really blown my mind. So we'll see how it works. If it doesn't work great on this picture, we'll try a different one. But the ability to look at an image from different perspectives has kind of blown my mind. I'll show you in some future examples. We're going to try some drone shots, changing
Yeah.
from one angle to the other,
Which was
which
absolutely impossible beforehand.
yeah, I mean, it
I mean,
might not be
that's,
exactly the same person, but it
it's
also, I don't,
pretty similar. Like, I'm bad
yeah,
at faces, but I would definitely talk to that person, thinking they're the same person if I were to see them
right.
on the street.
And then like a use case I've seen people think of for this is, storyboarding. Let's say I wanted
Right.
to do a few panels, and from one image you could do basically a bunch of different things. And just the thing that's amazing here is the um, the like
The
keeping the
small
details the
details.
same. Yeah, like
Right.
the stubble amounts the same, the lighting and everything, the
And I think bringing
haircut.
up storyboarding is a really great point because for a lot of these things, like I personally probably would want to have it be like a shot that I actually took for the final piece. So being able to go and create a storyboard or just something to then go and shoot for, it gives you a lot more flexibility to be able to communicate what you're looking for rather than having to then go back out and do another like test shoot or anything. Rick is
Yeah.
saying that it kind of looks like me, which I'll take it. I mean, I wish I had that hairline, but
Yeah, actually speaking about the hairline, one thing I want to like to point out too is like so in the original photo you notice that the hair is sort of parted one way, and in this photo it's still consistently kept that it's parted in that same perspective. So
yeah,
Yeah, in my opinion, super cool. And whenever you do something like if it's not exactly how you want, you still have in the properties panel the ability to maybe change a word, try a different verb, and it'll then just adjust that layer. So really cool. That's like some basics on this example, but I wanted to show some even more different stuff. Like here was one that I made. Yeah, like this one we will use the selection tool and it should work. But starting from this original one, I was going to change this pet dog here to generative fill and make sure I'm on Nano Banana and um, change the dog to a pet dragon and see what we get. And then there was actually some details in the other one that I'm not sure if you noticed, but actually what's funny is in the original photo, I believe there's a mural of a dinosaur. That's what that is, right?
That's cute. Yeah, yeah. It looks like one of those long necks from like Land Before Time.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to change that mural using Nano Banana. But also, one thing I haven't experimented with is like multiple things. Of course, all of the
Whoa.
results I'm getting are like
Whoa.
all the results I'm getting alive are really bad. But I swear to
That's
you, I just did
hilarious.
this last night, and you can see the layers.
Right.
Um, Here, I'll show you.
Oh, look, it did switch. It
Yeah.
switched the mural to the dragon,
No,
which is funny.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'll show you like literally the same exact one. Maybe it's my selection tool or maybe something about this morning is different, but I did the same exact thing last night and got this dragon.
Right.
And then another thing I did, let's try this one. We're just going to keep trying. We're going to see how the results work. But oh yeah, the dragon. Let me turn. I put them all in a group, but this is the original photo. And I highlighted this dinosaur mural and generative fill. And I did change the mural to a dragon, and we'll see how this goes. And then another thing I did was, make the entire image sunset, and it even got us that cool sunset look. So
Yeah.
let's see. We're gonna see how this one works. So yeah, that's
Cody
the one thing.
says Cody says tools never work when you're live. It's a fact of life. Yeah, I mean, you're on a cooking show and of course something the oven's not gonna work or something. It's just
Good thing we pre-baked some in the oven.
yeah,
No,
that's what
but
it's all about.
I think regardless whether, it works on the first try or not, sometimes with these tools, like you might have to try once or twice or try different words. Maybe last
Yeah.
night I think last night I didn't even say anything. I just said pet dragon and it worked better. So,
Hmm.
I mean, that's good. Maybe sometimes less is more. But, we saw in the first example, I was able to get a cool result live too. So let's see how this one finishes up here.
I like how it
And
says use powerful action verbs. Like what is a
yeah, it's
powerful
giving me
action
a,
verb?
yeah, actually that's a different tip than the last time. So we'll see if it finishes. I might just might
What
have
would you name your
to
pet dragon?
let's see. Fluffy, of course.
Fluffy. Sparky.
I'm gonna click cancel on that one because for some reason it's stuck. But basically, believe me or not, you can see that on the stream. Yeah,
Yeah,
mural
yeah.
of a dragon prompt uh got me this cool mural of a dragon last night.
That's great.
So
And
pretty
and so
cool
for just
actually.
for some clarity here, you're also when you are using other models, you're not getting three versions, are you?
No, so yeah, with Firefly, as you know, when you use Firefly, you can click through a couple variations.
Hmm.
And also with Firefly, I think you can use this reference image button. That's why this one's grayed out. But
Yeah,
for Nano Banana, you're just getting the prompt and this model. So,
it is getting your singular
um,
response. So just
yeah,
something to
and
remember when you're going into it.
yeah, so basically this one was cool. I did Pet Dragon, Sunset, and even changed little small Easter egg details like mural of a dragon.
And
And
it's nice
I
because it's
think
adding shadow to the alleyway, or the streetway,
yeah, it,
to
it
then
really,
reflect the sunset, which is nice.
yeah, it gives it some cool stuff. So this next one, let's try. I think this one I did a whole room decor. Uh, Now this is I went crazy a little bit. Of course, I wouldn't actually probably do this, but this one I thought was really useful because I don't know if anyone's ever tried to envision any renovations or anything like that. Even like changing the paint color, that's a big one. Should we change
Yeah.
this paint color? So I thought this one was really useful because rather than making a selection, I just used the command A to select everything and generative fill. And actually, one thing I did, which I was just experimenting with, was change paint color to, and I actually used a hex code. So
Ooh, okay.
I'm not sure if I didn't test if it literally got that hex code, but let's
But at
do, I
least
don't know
the
what,
inspiration it goes with.
yeah, what does everyone want?
Yeah, let's do a green. Let's do a
Yeah,
green. Green's the
let's do
best.
like sort of darker green here.
All right.
And I'll actually just copy the hex code
Okay.
and press OK. And I did change color to hashtag this. And if it comes up
Not
with green, I
hashtag.
just
Hashtag
wait,
zero
it's not a
B five
hashtag, I
five zero.
guess. Is it,
I mean,
what's
I
the
don't
name of
know.
that
I
called?
guess it's a pound, but I feel like even in this case, it probably is a hashtag. But then is it even a tag? I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know,
Welcome in
but
11%. Good to see you here. It says, let's
if
go,
it
Justin.
if it comes out green, then I am gonna believe that it is recognizing the hashtag
Yeah.
or the hex code, sorry.
The
Um,
hashtag?
but yeah, here's another tip: precise prompting, use exact color. Oh, it does tell us to use exact color. So how much more exact can you get than the actual hex code?
Detailed descriptions and clear action verbs instead of vague terms. I like how it always
Yeah.
does a little dig at the end, too. Be
Oh
like,
yeah. Yeah, and so the other thing that I did in the sort of decoration demo was I highlighted different areas with the selection tool and then, add to this wall. Of course, something went wrong this time. But
the
basically,
system doesn't like the color green and thinks that it's a bad interior design choice, so it's trying to thwart your decisions.
yeah, actually, I don't know. Do these models work based on like how many people are trying to use them at once? Because genuinely, it might have made a difference from
That you were
last night
doing
to
it late
tonight.
at night rather than on a
Maybe.
Monday where everyone's
Possibly.
waking up and working.
Let me make this image like maybe a lot smaller, see if it helps
Oh,
to,
that also might be the
yeah,
case.
just to see if it helps to make it
But I
smaller.
do think
But
this is an interesting use case, specifically around different generative features. I know we talked about storyboarding. I think this is also another cool one that takes it out of maybe even using it as a deliverable, but more of like a reference for creatives or just people in general to be able to like, this is just for me to be able to kind of envision this room that I'm remodeling. I think that could be
yeah, I
really
mean, I
helpful.
personally was just doing this a few months ago. Uh, I got a yellow bathroom. It's like bright yellow. That's just how it came.
Yeah.
And I was trying to
Oh, when
figure
you
out.
got like you moved in and it had a yellow bathroom.
Yeah, it's just bright yellow, and it's still yellow, but I was trying to figure out like what color would look good in there. And I was
Literally
doing it.
anything besides yellow.
Yeah, I was doing it in Photoshop in sort of like a hacky way,
Uh-huh.
but this probably would have helped. So we'll see. If this doesn't work, I'll just show you guys layer by layer. Good thing we're on live. We have more than one attempt here. But I'll just show you guys layer by layer what I did last night. Yeah, again, for some reason something's going wrong. Again, these are, I don't know, are they cloud models? I'm not sure exactly how they
They're
work.
cloud, but they're also all still in beta. So,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, we are
so
in Photoshop beta after all. So,
yeah, so good thing I have. I'll show you guys like a bunch of stuff here. So, um, uh, quick shortcut option command. If you click on an eyeball, that highlights only that layer. So yeah, the
mhm.
first thing I did was I changed the paint color to a red. I really would like to see if it's recognizing the green hex code, but you
Yeah,
can see what I did here was hex code B50 whatever, and that is this sort of maroon red.
yeah,
And then I also asked it to add a modern bedroom furniture set. And then I also you can see these black and white layer masks. I asked for a rug, and then I said remove the ceiling to a disco ball. I mean, everything was working pretty smoothly. I asked for floating shelves, and I even painted in a little book artwork of a city skyline there.
yeah. It's looking
And
like kind of like New York, kind of, because it looks like One World Trades there, but I'm not entirely sure of the other one. Yeah, I think it is because I think it also has the Chrysler Building in there, so it's pulling
yeah,
some iconic buildings.
and the one thing I thought was really cool too was, this mirror on the wall.
Hmm.
Oh, I guess you can even move stuff. Yeah, but this mirror on the wall, like I like that it got the reflection of the lamp that it put here.
That's
It's
pretty
and
incredible.
and of the other wall. So Yeah, this one's pretty cool. We're gonna try maybe like one or two more, and then we're gonna jump over to Premiere. But hopefully, when you use this, it'll just work smoothly. But yeah, it was working, and this one was one that I did with a watermelon picture.
Okay.
So what I did here was I wanted to get a cool like I thought I could use this cool vibrant texture
And this is a
for
real
changing it
picture,
into a
right?
shape. Yeah, this is a real picture.
Yeah. So you're
I
starting
believe
with the
so.
source material
Yeah.
that's a real watermelon.
Yeah.
I know it's
So,
crazy that I have to verify that, but it's 2025, so you never know.
yeah. So also the other thing people can do is like use the select subject or remove backgrounds buttons. But again, sometimes whether you have if you don't define a boundary, sometimes it's better for certain results.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one I'm just gonna try the I'm gonna do this quick one like uh, make the fruit into a letter J, and hopefully it works. If it doesn't work, I'm just gonna assume that the tool, uh, for some reason, is having a hiccup right now. Again, there's no way there's any user error here, so we're kind of at the mercy. But
Fingers crossed, though.
yeah, either way, I have the results for everyone. I wanted to make it fun and do it live, but as the
Hey,
cooking show,
that's the cooking show goes, though.
yeah. Yeah.
And
But and also we'll jump into Premiere too. So this is only just demoing this new tool, which is available for a limited time. I'm gonna just assume that it's just totally hiccuping out for this whole hour. So I'm just gonna show you guys quickly in like a few minutes some of the different examples. You could give the tool a try for yourself, and we'll jump into Premiere basically.
great,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah, I'm assuming because last night when I did it, not it didn't take this long, and also for that first example, it didn't take this long.
right.
Um, maybe it's confused because it's like you literally have this in the same file. I don't know what you're doing. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna show the results. Basically, I mean, that's
This
how
is
you
cool
do
though.
it. Yeah.
Cool that
But yeah, I made
that
this
you
one
could
into
hypothetically spell something out by
yeah.
doing
And
several
actually
generations.
I know in Firefly they have a specific tool for text, but I thought that was a cool one. And then yeah, just quickly to show you guys some other ones like this one I changed the color to like a pearlescent green and purple, I said.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, did you ever used to play those car video games
Oh,
where
all the
you could
time,
like
like Need
customize
for
your
Speed
car?
and stuff. Also,
Yeah,
hello
yeah.
to Temperin X, who's in YouTube chat, saying Justin Odisho fan with big heart eyes. So
Thank you, everyone watching. But yeah, that's the only reason I
underglow on
know.
everything.
That's the only reason I know the term pearlescent paint. But
It's
yeah,
because of it.
it does give you that like purplish green tint, and
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. I also asked it to make the car a drop top, and you can see it
Nice.
does that too. So convertible, I said, and yeah, just the preservation of details is really amazing to me. There's like some slight perspective happening, but otherwise all the reflections, everything is the same. So I thought that was a cool use case. And
Next time
some
we'll have
other
to add
cool
some spinning
things,
rims.
yeah, some other cool things was like this one, I just used the selection brush tool and changed this hoodie into a rain jacket because I noticed it was kind of like raining a little bit.
Oh,
And
nice.
then I also asked for a top-down shot just to see what I could kind of get from the original image.
Wow.
And yeah, it takes this like wet blue and green court and this person in a red sort of hoodie with the ball in the air, and it gives us this still sort of wet green and blue court from a top-down shot, which yes, it may not be like exactly like perfectly, but if you think about it, it's I mean it's creating almost a
A
lot
new image.
from nothing. Yeah.
Right.
So this was like that storyboarding sort of idea, which could come really in handy. Just but keeping the details the same, like the wet green and the blue. It's like I thought that was really cool, and even like sort of the tree reflections are still there.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's really cool with the tree reflections.
yeah. So yeah, these were a couple of different things I was playing around with. I'm sure there's even some more mind blowing ones that I'm not thinking of at the moment, but at least we got one live generation here. We did
Yeah.
this live right now, the turning the head to the side and removing the glasses. So
I also
yeah,
love the file names: Happy Banana, Dragon Banana,
oh yeah, I
Balloon
had to save
Banana.
everything. But yeah, the tool might be having a hiccup live right now for some reason, but I'm sure if you give this a try, download the Photoshop Beta and give it a try on a quiet hour of your own and see what kind of results you get. These are some cool different examples and use cases. And I'm sure also once the tool is out of beta, a lot of these hiccups will be smoothed over. But still, the
Absolutely.
results I was able to get, I think, are really amazing. And it feels like then I'm not going to say we're at the future yet, but we're basically almost there as soon as that gets smoothed out.
Certainly. And so
Um,
while we're about halfway through, so I'm assuming we're probably going to switch over in just a minute. But just before we do that, I would love to just share it with you guys. The week on Adobe Live this week, as of right now, we only have one show on YouTube today, but later in the day we'll have virtual plane air painting with Maddie and roller troll with Wade Acuff on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Adobe. The virtual plane air painting is really cool. It is Maddie. She picks a selection of different uh, areas around the world that have kind of street view, and then people vote on which one they'll do. And then for an hour and a half, everyone paints together. She gives really good advice, her technique, and then people tend to then submit theirs, and she pulls them up and reviews them. Roller Troll is right after that, and it is Wade rolling a die that then kind of brings you to this scratch card that gives two options. Then the chat votes on which of the two options people are going to draw. So that's really fun. That's on Twitch. If you guys aren't already following on Twitch, make sure you do that. But if you're more of a YouTube person, we've got plenty of more YouTube. We're YouTube all day tomorrow, first half of Wednesday, all day Thursday, and Friday. You can check out this schedule and more all on the Adobe Live Discord. It is available in the description. It's also, I believe, I'll put it in the chat as well. I can pin it as a comment, but hop in there and it'll always be up there, updated on Monday, so you can get your full schedule. But we're still here for another half an hour with Justin, so I don't want to take too much time away from him. But thank you guys for being here. We were just looking at some stuff. We were just looking at Nano Banana, and now we're hopping into Premiere to talk about some new updates. So back to you, Justin.
Yeah, it looks like a fun week ahead. I'm glad to be
Yeah,
starting off the Monday. So
starting
yeah,
strong.
switching over from Photoshop, we're gonna dive into Premiere. And as we did last week, if you guys didn't catch the replay last week, we jumped into the new film impact effects and transitions that are available in Premiere. But because there's like 90 new ones, I was only able
Yep.
to give a brief overview. So today I was hoping to dive a little bit more into some of my favorite ones I've been using and just continue showing some cool ones. So here's a video I've been working on this weekend for Instagram. And there's, if you like, one thing I've just been noticing playing with these film impact is they're making my life a lot easier and giving me so much just variety to just, let's try this one, let's try that one. So I
Yeah.
made this cool little text effect um, where the words sort of fly in like one at a time and then fly out. And I was playing around with a bunch of different, and these are all film impact ones. So one, I'm going to show you guys like we're going to make something like that, and then I'm also going to show you guys a couple other use cases with the film impact. Like I did this cool like glitch one
Yep.
like this, and yeah, these are all just drag and drop really easy. So oh, there was also like these there's one called Film Impact Panel. So this one I was using for screenshots. Like when a screenshot comes on, it sort of does this cool like
The fold
glassy
in glass
panel
sort of
wipe.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually now that I'm seeing it, like I think I can change that highlight color from yellow to whatever I want. So yeah, why don't we dive in on a new sequence here, which I believe this is a new feature too, being able to label sequence colors, which I've done here, purple or whatnot. But if you haven't updated your Premiere, this is not beta, this is like a
Full
full release
release.
version. Uh, in the new update, if you go to your effects panel, you should be able to see in the video the film impact and in the video transitions the film impact ones. There's also a whole new uh, dashboard in the window extensions film impact dashboard, which you can always open up and then dock this panel sort of wherever is comfortable for you. Let's put it right here.
Also,
And
I missed this comment earlier,
sure,
but Rick said that his brother-in-law painted their kitchen in a yellow called American cheese. So
American cheese, I
you
like
have
it.
a brother that is feeling your pain
A yellow
in your
brother.
bathroom. Yellow
So
brother
or maybe he's suggesting that I just change it from like sunshine yellow to cheese yellow
to American
for a
cheese
change of
yellow.
pace.
But sorry, that totally
Um,
detracted you. But I saw it. I want to make sure I called it out.
no, I love it. I love it. That's why we're live. But yeah, so this is the new Film Impact dashboard. It's even got a cool new way to view the transitions. So you can even
Mhm.
hover over and see a quick example of the transition. But the thing that I really like about these new effects is not only are they good for video, like I was showing, they're good for text and shapes. So in this case, let me show you guys how I was doing that cool text animation thing. And typically this would be like synced to as you're speaking.
Okay.
So let's just say, I don't know what sentence should we do? Like something about
Well, what kind of video is this? Is this like a travel video?
Sunday. Yeah, this is I guess a travel video. So I guess we'll do like
You do. You could either market
come
it. You could say like plan the trip of your dreams, or you could do the more
yeah,
Instagram influencer one.
let's do like your adventure is waiting.
Yeah.
So the cool thing I liked about doing this was I was doing it one word at a time, and then it's not that hard to build out, but as opposed to the default captions that you get these days on social media sites like Instagram, it really helps make your video stand out. If you don't hook someone in the first 3 seconds on Instagram, uh, basically that's how they want to see if they want to keep
Yeah.
recommending your video.
Which
So
is
actually,
nuts.
a little shortcut that I just did here. So if you hold Option on your keyboard and click and drag out a layer, it'll automatically duplicate that layer. So carbonated water, not a great choice when you're live. Sorry, everyone. But yeah, so all I did was duplicate the layer, and what I'll do is basically make each one come in at a staggered amount of time, and I'll also change the position and writing of them. So you can imagine this is as a narrator is voicing over, your next adventure is waiting. So the first one will be your, and then in the second one, we'll make that next. And if I highlight this text and go to the properties panel, this is where I can adjust everything about it. So I'll do next, and I'll just grab the move tool and move it. So, these all kind of put them in the environment, around the subject. And I like it because you can literally click just
Click
like
and
you're in
drag.
Photoshop. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the best ways. So the font I'm using is called Modak, I guess, if anyone's wondering.
It's a fun little bubbly one.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it.
It's nice. It has little cuts in to like on the X or the T, how it cuts in just so that it gives a little bit more definition, but also has character to it.
Yeah, definitely. Um, so this was, these sort of effects seem like they might be difficult, but
Adventure.
they're not that hard to build, especially in Premiere. Like a lot of times you think you might need After Effects for as soon as you start getting a little intricate. But what I
Okay.
like about these Film Impact ones is, you know, all of a sudden we can actually do a lot and still stick in Premiere. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna make Adventure all caps. And I'm also, you can do that in the properties panel with the all caps button or bold or italic or whatever, but I'll just make it all caps. I might make it a little bit bigger, and I'll actually change the color of adventure to, let's do like a bright or some kind of green since we didn't get to use green last time. We'll do
Yeah.
green this one. So
That's a good
you're
call out
next.
with the functions of being able to use all caps and stuff. I remember when I first started using Adobe programs, I would literally backspace everything and then just like put caps lock on or hold down shift and type it back out. So I think a lot of people don't realize that you can make like massive adjustments that are quick like that, like full caps or even doing small caps or italicized just with a button. So that was a good call out. Also,
Yeah,
Rick is saying, is this a candidate for font of the week? It could be. It's a pretty good font. I'm into it.
I'm not sure where I got this font from. So yeah, but yeah, we'll do it. Um, we'll do awaits. The other thing is you can have more than one text layer in the same graphic layer. So,
Right.
the way that I'm doing this might be a little bit obtuse or something for some people, but I like it because you can add a transition to each one.
And it
Um,
also has a good visual indicator in your timeline to show that they are coming in at different times, which is nice.
yeah, and also this would be cool to use with the new object masking, which is in beta, but should be coming if you wanted to put the text behind a person. But anyways, I'm gonna do, yeah, like sort of different sizes kind of, and these are gonna come in one by one. So previously, the tedious part here would be then, I don't know, adding keyframes on the motion or whatever, or you don't just want to do your default Command D crossfade. Maybe you do, but the really cool thing that I liked about this was in the new Film Impacts transitions panel, there's so many fun ones to choose from. And the ones that I've been liking, like for example, one that I really liked is there's one called Pull. Let's see. It's actually somehow easier for me to see them in the actual old effects panel because I could just scan through them all. But I'm still getting familiar with where everything is. But where is this one? Which one did I use? Let me go back to my.
Yeah, what
It
was this
was,
video that you were working on the other day?
yeah,
Is this part
this is
for
like
your
a
Instagram,
Instagram
TikTok?
reel. No,
Yeah.
this is like an Instagram reel um, for, it's actually something with Adobe, but it's not out yet. So I probably shouldn't
So
even
you
be
probably
playing it
couldn't
too
go
much.
through it.
But this one's called pull motion effects. Yeah. So that's actually a good tip too. Like whenever you have the transition on there, you see it says FI, film impact, pull motion impacts. So you can sort of see what's on there. And actually the cool part too in the search panel, in both search panels, I can type in pull and it'll pop up that one. We have so many new transitions, I can't even find the one I want. That's a good problem to have, right?
Right.
So here it is, the pull motion effect. And I really like this one for um, text, for example. Uh, if I click apply, it applies it to both ends, but I can delete one, or I can just also drag it from the effects panel like this. Also, a little pro tip, which may not be necessary in this case, but you can, by default, if you ever highlight a bunch of clips and press Command D on a Mac, it'll add the default transition to the starts or
Nice.
ends, and that's the cross dissolve. That's really useful if you're making like, let's say all of
Sweeping
these clips, I
changes.
wanted all of them like a slideshow, a photo slideshow. I Command D, and then all of them will just have a transition between them.
And does that
So
also
that's
work on
useful.
audio?
Yeah, Command D should also work on audio, but for audio, it'll just be like gain dissolve or whatever, cross dissolve.
Yeah, for nice
Like there's no
crosstalk.
cool audio transitions, unfortunately.
No, but I mean that's good because I think a lot of times with novice or like newer video editors, you'll hear this pop between each cut. Um,
Yeah, it's really
and
useful
it's a good way
actually.
to just get rid of that as like just a quick sweeping change. Rick is calling out it's also Control D on Windows for those using
Yes,
Windows.
thank you. I always
Um,
forget. But the tip too I was going to give is let's say you are for a specific project working only with, let's say you're doing a photo slideshow and you want every single one of them to be a push. If you actually right click in the effects panel, you can set as the default transition
oh, I didn't know
whatever
that.
transition you want. Yeah, and if you
That's
notice
really cool.
now, it has this like blue kind of box around it. That's how you distinguish that that has become the transition.
New default transition.
Yeah, I
Nice.
mean,
Okay.
it should have it has a blue box around it. That's how we know. And now if you do that Command D, like highlighting everything, press Command D, it'll just use your default transition, which
I'm
you
about to
can
get
make
goofy with my video
whatever you
edits. I'm
want.
gonna be
Yeah.
like doing these like weird techie transitions between every single one.
Yeah, no, I mean, a really good use case for that is like making photo slideshows. And especially
Oh, good point.
if you go to like the preferences, like settings general or whatever, in the media tab, let's see, actually, where is it? It's in the, I want to say it's in the timeline. Yeah, in the
Yeah,
timeline
timeline.
tab, you can also set what's the default duration. So it's by default 30 frames, but if you wanted a long dissolve between every one, you can adjust how many seconds by default those are. You can also adjust when you drag an image in, it's by default 5 seconds long, but you can also adjust that. So if you want to build out a project in this sort of way, you would just set the preferences and then do it like that. And you could
It's
probably
also
save
something
yourself a lot of
that
time.
is only going to apply. I mean, when you're dragging in images, obviously that's going to be universal. But for the example of the default transition, like it can only apply to the ones that you highlight as well. So if you want to switch up your default between, instances, like you can just use it as a means to speed up your workflow without changing your entire timeline.
Yeah. So basically that was a bit sidetracked, but useful tips. But here I'll play back what we have so far. I'm gonna make this a lot faster. So like you can imagine if someone's speaking, they're staggered, but they're all coming pretty one after another. And I've added that pull motion impact to all of them. And I thought, that was really cool in the way
Yeah,
that
looks
we're
great.
getting this cool effect. And if I click on that transition here and I go to the effects panel, you can see in the curve editor, this one has like a little bounce speed by default. You can see it as a weight, so it bounces in place. But there's also other ones that you can do. There's a lot of control actually in these film impact ones. So there's bounce, overshoot. Let's see what that looks like. So
And also
different
nice how it shows
types,
you the
yeah.
technicals and then also things that are a little bit more digestible if you're not like super familiar with curves. Like just being able to go on a bounce and change the number of bounces without having to then adjust on the curve
Oh
graph is really
yeah,
nice.
I even missed that. Yeah, you can make it one bounce, two
20,
bounce.
get out.
Yeah. Well, I guess you'd probably need a really long transition to even see
Yeah.
that. But and you can also adjust like the ease in, ease out. So you can visually see what you're doing.
Hmm.
But the thing that I was doing here was I'm gonna make adventure different than the other ones. So we're gonna make them all sort of smooth, but for adventure, yeah, adventure is going to bounce, but for adventure, when they transition out, I want adventure to sort of glow and everything else to sort of just blur out. So,
Adventure.
yeah, so there's one in the film impact transitions called Flash, Flash impacts, and I'm
Okay.
going to use that for the adventure. And if you notice, it sort of um, it sort of glows out and
Love
does
that.
like that. And then I'm going to use one called blur for the other ones so that they all sort of just blur dissolve. There was
Okay.
also a cool one called liquid, which I'll show that later. But we're just, actually no, the one that I used for these was called fold motion. So this one is just kind of fold the text in on itself, and it sort of ends up being like a linear wipe,
Yeah.
but
But it's got a little
I
bit
like
of
it.
that edge adjustment to make it feel a little bit more um foldy.
Yeah, so the reason I liked this sort of combination was you're getting that cool pulling in from the camera, and then you're getting that highlight on the one word that you want, the eyes to focus on. And just a simple edit like this, which if I wasn't talking, I could do this in like a minute or two, and also the fact that we can just drag and drop the film impact and get these cool results. Uh, this sort of thing could really make your video a lot more appealing or hook a lot better. So yeah, I think that's actually pretty cool. I mean, typically you could build this out with like 3 to 6 words pretty easily, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you did that pretty quickly, all things considered, without much friction, and also being able to kind of go into some of the nitty gritty. AAR
Yeah.
Creativo has joined us. Says hi, everyone. Welcome to the chat. We're just going over some cool film impact updates to Premiere. If you have any questions or
Yeah.
comments, throw them in the chat.
And the thing that I really liked when I was actually working on the videos over this weekend was just sort of like the easy experimentation. Like I was dragging on, let's try the pop motion. Oh, let's try this one. And just kind of seeing which ones I liked without having to do all this tedious building. And,
And not
you end
being
up,
destructive either.
yeah, and you end up finding the ones that you like. So, uh, I want to dive in some more and just show basically some of the examples because yeah, there's tons of cool stuff you can build. I'll show you guys like another cool thing I did, but a ton of the cool transitions that you can do are, for example, I really like the distortions folder. So if you notice, these are all in different folders. I really like the distortions folder, and some of my favorite ones in here are the glitches and the VHSs. So the glitch one is really cool. If I apply that in between, oh, I always forget that for this one, you're just clicking apply. I'm so used to the old way. Um, but if you apply, you'll get that transition here. And if you highlight the transition, go to the effect controls panel, you can move where it is in between the cut or not in between the cut. Whenever you see these like diagonal lines, that just means that the other clip has reached its end. So it's just going to use like repeated frames or freeze frame for the rest of the transition. It's not
Which
an
especially
error
with
or
something
anything.
like this, like it's
It
that
doesn't
works
matter.
really well
Yeah.
for glitch, right?
Yeah. I mean, it always is fine. Typically you might not always be using the actual beginning and ends of clips. So if you
Right.
ever notice too, for anyone watching, uh, if you are at the actual end of a clip, you see this little like white triangle.
Okay.
Um, we're getting into a lot of cool UI tips here, but like there's actually a lot of cool UI things in Premiere that you might not notice. This little white cap on the end of the clip means that you are actually at the end of the clip. Whereas if
It's
I
magnified.
cut this clip down a little bit, you'll notice that little white cap disappears.
I
So
feel so
that
silly for
means
not knowing
yeah,
that.
I'm glad that you're actually learning a thing or two here.
This is great. This is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, that there's a lot of little tips like that, like visual indicators that are there for a reason, and it's useful to know. So yeah, and you see when I pull to the end of the clip, it goes like that. So if I was to transition between two clips that are not at their end, that means that there is, hidden information that I could still use.
And
And
you're not
if
going to
you
get those cross
yeah,
kind of
and if
lines,
you
right?
do, yeah, if you notice for this one, there's no crossed lines, which again is not an error. It's nothing wrong. It's just a visual indicator that, we're at the end of the clip. So we're just going to sort of freeze frame it or use the same frame. So anyways, um, back to this, not this default one, but back to this
You
grunge
get the
effect.
nicest messages during our live streams, by the way.
Really? I love
Like
it.
there's another one, Lasego Manasse says Justin Odisho, one of the best, fire, fire, fire.
Love it.
Just people are here to hype you up, which I'm excited about. Also, good morning to Miss Melanie, always joining us from, as she always says, Los Angeles, with a T. So
The
it's good to see you
Adobe
again,
Live
Melanie. Thanks
community
for being here.
is amazing.
We're just
So
still hopping in. We've got about like 5 or so minutes left looking at some of these film impact. All of these effects are now available in Premiere General Release. So if you have Premiere, you have these effects. And there's some really
yeah,
cool
so
stuff
I
to
guess
explore.
for those of you that maybe missed me and Ryan, we're diving in a little bit like into this one, but some of the really cool new features is not only does it just look cool as it is, some of the really cool new features are this surprise me button,
Yeah.
which if you just keep spamming surprise, this is what I was doing over the weekend. Like I've become so lazy as an editor because now I don't even want to adjust. Like I don't even want to get in there and adjust. I just keep hitting surprise me until I kind of like, which is bad probably.
But it's also great because it shows you at least for me, it shows me the breadth of the the abilities because sometimes when like without a surprise me button, I start to kind of use the sliders and I can't fully understand what it could also look like. But when you're using the surprise me or the randomize, it gives you a sense of variance that I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize that the effect could look like that. Like by scaling this all the way up and this all the way down. And so it's also a good way to learn about the effects, even if you're not even using them. Um, the final product of the surprise me, but also you can totally use the surprise me as the final effect. So
Absolutely. Yeah. It's
it's a
also,
handshake.
it shows you like what's possible and then you can go in there and put the human
Yeah.
touch on it. But yeah, because we only have a few minutes, I'm going to actually just show like just some of my favorite ones. So there's the glitch. I really like this motion camera one too. This
Okay.
is like like a cool
Ooh,
zoom transition almost like it pulls into the next clip. I think it looks pretty smooth.
that's very
Um,
smooth.
that one's really useful. Again, and these are just the transitions. Don't forget that we've also loaded into Premiere a whole ton of new effects in the effects panel. And another one that I've been using too is, um, you know how you can like type emojis now. I forgot how to do it now, and I'm not gonna
It's
go
something like the
like,
command space or something like that, or like alt command space. I can't
yeah,
remember.
there's some
I
kind of
always like
code.
do 4 times and finally I hit it.
There's some kind of code, but like I was doing this with an emoji the other day, but I'll
Mm,
just do it with a logo. I mean, same thing. There's cool effects too. Like there's a clone effects in the tools section, and this takes one logo and it can make. If I just hit the surprise me button, I'm gonna make this logo a lot smaller too, so we see. It can sort of create cool like cloned animations. Um,
nice.
let's actually. I think I made it too small. Let's see here. Let me restart here. I think it had to do with making it small. So I believe there's something going on there, but I'm gonna nest it just to show an example.
When in
Always
doubt,
nest.
nest it
Nest
out.
fixed everything. Yeah, so
Yep,
uh
immediately.
the clone the clone tool can be really cool, like to get these cool clone things, but not only can you clone, but you can also animate it. So um I can make it continuous and I can adjust like what I was doing was this cool rotation thing, like starting rotation,
Oh,
let's
very
say 0,
kaleidoscopy.
and then like make it rotate like 45 degrees or something. And you can get these cool effects. Like this is just an effect and it just will continually animate. And if I click surprise me a bunch, like this was a cool way. Like what I did was I was talking about editing and I can put this on like a blending mode, for example, like overlay, and you know, you can get cool different effects. What I did was I took an emoji and I sort of made it like grow and rotate across the whole screen. But these are not just video effects and transitions, they're also tools, animation tools. So that's one thing. And then I guess trying to pack in as much as I can here.
Yeah, we got
Uh,
about like a minute or so left.
yeah, some other really cool ones are aside from like the pull motion. There was these cool like there's bokeh blurs now, like even in the effects panel or the transitions.
Yeah.
Previously, you'd have to go to After Effects for that, but now we can do cool. Let's see
And they
here.
can be as subtle or as loud as you want them to be, which is nice. Like sometimes just a small bokeh will go a long way. And you're almost like, is it making a change? And then other times you can kind of go full out to blur to make a nice transition, or maybe you want to like if
Yeah,
you have a logo on top, maybe you want to have hierarchy and approach the logo.
yeah, like here with all these balloons or whatever. Um, you can get this cool. It probably works better on like night city shots, but you see this sort of hexagonal blur, and you can actually adjust the edges. So I can make it fully round. This is the sort of blur that we're only able to get with the After Effects effect previously, but now we have this. You can even do like cool chromatic aberrations and different things. But this is something where you can maybe start at a blur and then add a keyframe and then go all the way down to 0 and get a cool focus pull in effect um, for your videos, something like that. So yeah, I mean, check out our other stream. There's so many more cool ones that I really haven't even been able to. I've brushed over the surface here, but basically the new Premiere update has, 90 plus effects and transitions, really cool drag and drop stuff, light leaks, blurs, animations, tools. Really one of the best updates I've seen in Premiere in a while, and it's making my life so much easier editing and making cool different effects. Oh, that glass panel one. Yeah, you can take us out, Ryan, but uh, the panel wipe is another cool one, especially for introducing a screenshot or something. Um, yeah, I could go on for hours,
Well, yeah, you guys got
but
to get in there and you guys got to play with it because it is, yeah, it's general release now,
there's the
so you're
panel
able
wipe.
to.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so seamless. Um, and it's just a real fun time to go in and be able to just open up that module and then play around with it. But thank you so much for walking us through everything. Thank you for showing us what's new, and thanks for messing around a little bit with Nano Banana also in Photoshop. It's always a pleasure to have you on. If you guys are watching the replay, I hope you had a great time. Also, make sure you leave a comment and give a little thumbs up on YouTube. Helps the algorithm. As for everybody else watching live, we are going off the air for YouTube right now, but in just about an hour or so, I believe, we will be switching over to Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Adobe. And then we've got 3 hours of content over there today. We've got a bunch of stuff going on this week, so make sure you hop over there. And you also join the Discord to talk with people and hang out. So thank you again to Justin for your time and your expertise. Learned a lot about Premiere, and we will see you all real soon.
Thanks, everyone. See you guys next
Bye.
time.